A lot has been going on in Nigeria, but today we're channeling our lens to two major issues that has defined the stability and realities of many Nigerians: governance and security. How does this affect the youth? And if it's affecting the youth, we're talking about it here. My name is Juliet Onra. This is 360 Youth Dialogue. Stay with us after this short break. Nigeria today is facing a security crisis that cuts across regions and social classes, from banditry in the northwest to insurgency in the northeast, kidnapping on major highways, and rising urban crime. Insecurity has become part of daily life. Despite billions allocated to security, police unit remains overstretched. Courts are slow, intelligence failures continue, accountability is weak. Criminals operate with confidence knowing justice is uncertain. At the same time, rising security spending reduces investment in education, healthcare, and jobs, deepening poverty and fueling further instability. Public trust in institutions has eroded. Citizens increasingly rely on self help, private security, or ransom payment. And until governance reform matches the scale of the crisis, security will continue to remain out of reach. Without accountability, institutional reform, and political will, Nigeria's insecurity will persist. The question is no longer whether Nigeria has a security problem, but whether governance can deliver real solutions. Yes, you're still watching 360 Youth Dialogue here on Third Eye Africa Television. And if you're just joining in, you are right on time. We're talking about governance and security, how it affects the youth, and a whole lot more about Nigeria. What's going on in Nigeria today? What are the security issues? What are the governance issues, leadership, accountability, and everything we have to talk about. And I'm joined here today by Mr. Charles Akanji. He's a public commentator and the Director of Strategic Communication Partnership Assured for Tinubu. You're welcome, sir.
Welcome, my viewers. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's begin. How would you describe the current state of governance in Nigeria today?
Well, I will describe this as a painful duality. Painful duality in the sense that where the government is trying to, a kind of make some sweeping reforms to rejig the economy, to make sure that there is stability in the economy. On the other hand, Nigerians are facing some security threats and also facing some economic downturn that are, for the meantime, according to what we know, it's a short-term pain, and are looking ahead that the long-term gain will beginning to trickle in and to affect Nigerians positively.
But like you said, it's a short-time pain, and we're looking at long-term benefits.
Yeah.
But currently, we're seeing a lot of people complain about the present reforms. Do you think this is beneficiary to the youth?
Yes, of course, yes.
Both short-term and long-term.
Yes, you see, when the sweeping economic reforms like this is the first time in the history of this country that we are seeing a government that is, bringing out some policies that is hitting Nigerians very hard. But at the same time, they are providing some safety nets. They are putting on some policies that will cushion the effect of these harsh policies. When the subsidy was removed, we were shouting, everybody was crying, they have taken money from Nigerians. Fuel was hitting around 1,500. But today, we are buying fuel at 900. And in spite of that, the government has provided some policies that is also, for the youth to cushion the effect of these policies. We have the NEL fund, the NEL fund policy. The government has been granting, a kind of free loan for students. And also stipend has been given to Nigerian students as we speak. Over 620,000 Nigerians has benefited from the NEL fund policies. And you also have other conditional cash transfers to Nigerians. Over 70 million Nigerians has benefited from this. So these are policies to cushion the effect of this, sweeping economic reforms, pending when the whole gain will now, culminate and converge at the point where Nigerians will begin to enjoy the policies of this government fully.
This is just one aspect of the many trouble we're seeing in Nigeria today. But let's take a look at the predominant one going on right now that has even, gotten international attention. That's security. We're looking at security in Nigeria. In your own perspective, what's the security situation in Nigeria? How would you rate that?
Well, if you dimension the security situation in Nigeria, in the northeast, we are faced with the issue of Boko Haram, swap issues. When you come to the northwest and the north central, the issue of banditry, terrorism, and what have you. Come to the southeast, you have the issue of separatist agitation, the Biafran issue, the IPOB issue. When you come to the national level, you talk of armed robbery and what have you. But you see, these security issues are not something that we cannot, are not issues that we cannot defeat. And as we speak, the issue of banditry, the issue of terrorism, which has hit Nigeria very hard now, most especially in the north central, where people have been kidnapped, and in the northeast and northwest, for a few states in the northwest. It borders on the issue of, these bandits. They are one of the most readiest connected criminals we have in the whole Nigeria, in the whole world. They have network all over. What are the issues causing this issue of banditry and terrorism? It's not far-fetched. We have one of the finest gold mining industry in Zamfara and in Kaduna State. So these people make close to ₦1 billion every month. So it's a cartel that has eaten deep in that territory. They capture people, they enslave them, they even use them to mine those of their goods, sell them outside the country, bring arms, little arms into the country to terrorize Nigerians. And I think it's a very serious issue. And I think the government is working seriously to see that we rain on them and we dismantle those cartels, and Nigeria will begin to live security-free life as we go along.
You've mentioned quite a lot of security issues that Nigerians are facing, from banditry down to theft and robbery. But of all these, I think I would have to ask you, which is most pressing in Nigeria?
The most pressing, there are those security issues that is not threatening, but the most pressing one now we have is the issue of kidnapping that is rampaging Nigeria. As we speak, you cannot even travel for 2 hours without the fear of being kidnapped. You cannot even, the borders are not safe. Everywhere is not safe. So the issue of kidnapping and, is the most rampaging one we have been seeing lately, kidnapping little children. And, it's a serious issue. And I think the government will have to up the ante in this aspect. Yeah.
That's right. The government have to up their antenna in this aspect. And I'm glad you did not say that, the obvious one, which is terrorism and banditry, is like the most pressing. Oftentimes, we all ignore the minor things that often affect major people in Nigeria, and we look out at the big ones. I'm not saying terrorism is not a pressing issue. It is, which I'm sure the federal government is. Yeah. Yes, you already did that, which the government and, the US, they are putting hands together to solve. Let's talk about the issue now of security. To many critics, this is like a failure in the government. And we're looking at other aspects, ASU strike here, doctors strike there. The connection between this supposedly government failures and security challenges in Nigeria, how would you put them? Are they not connected to say, this government or a government, let's not just place it to this government, to this present government? I mean, when we're seeing economic failure, we're seeing not like failure, economic hardship. Let me rephrase that. We're seeing economic hardship. We're seeing security challenges. Does that not, connect to government failure?
Well, you see, when there's a public distrust, and when we have governors, as I said earlier, you have at the subnational level, you have the governors, they taking every month security votes. And what are the security votes meant for? They are meant to take care of the security of the citizens in which they govern. But when you see security still threatening the lives of Nigerians, it means the government has failed. The government has failed in that regard, and there is no hiding space for it. But let me bring you up to speed that there is a whole lot that we can do, both
Like
at
what?
the national and at the subnational level, to tackle the issue of security, the issue of insecurity in a different domain. Now, the president has said they should recruit more police. They have detached over 11,000 police from VIPs. You know what it means. They have detached it. Now, the president is saying they should employ more forest guards. They should employ more police. They should employ more military to make sure that the security and lives of Nigerians are secured, are protected. So where do we come in as a subnational from the state level? We have to also look at our security architecture. You can see the Southwest now, they are coming together to look at how they can tackle security from the Southwest angle. The North, they had a meeting, the 19 state governors, they had a meeting last 2 weeks to see how they can also tackle security. So if we know we have failed, the government has failed in some areas, but they are trying to see how they can quickly nip this crisis in the bud before it turns into something else, before they will come into Abuja, come into your house and begin to kidnap people. I think they have been proactive at this point to tackle those issues. And beyond that, the president or the government at the center should begin to look at giving out this opportunity for states to have what we call the state police. You understand? So that the federal police can handle the issue of federal, while the state police can handle the issue of state issues. And our borders, you know, we have over, according to the statistics, we have 4,047 kilometer borders. The immigration, the customs, we should not overburden them with the issue of enforcement. The government should create a kind of a national guard that take care of the land borders, and the coastal guard that take care of the coastal borders, so that the issue of this immigration relying on them and the custom to fight land and water crime and issues like this will be decentralized. So the state police is one of the major success that can also help us to fight this police, because it takes care of the local policing, and the locals, they understand the terrain, and the issue of forest guard also is coming in to tackle the issue of insecurity. And I think this is also a bold step from the president to ensure that no Nigerian life is lost going forward.
I'm glad you made mention of the state police here. It's a great initiative. A lot of people have, clamored for, bring this on. And it's something that would be of benefit both to the youth and to the state, to the government, to every individual. But my question is, so far, why is the implementation of state policing dwindling? Why is it delaying?
Yeah, there are processes to everything. Yeah, if you want to create a state police, you can't just wake up today and say, state police will take off. There are processes they have to go through. They have to seek the approval of the National Assembly, the state assemblies of each state, to see that, okay, the procedures put on ground will tackle what the issues are. The issue of why so many people are not clamoring for state police, because they are afraid that, these state governors might begin to use it for political witch hunting, you understand, to witch hunt their political opponent. So they have to be careful in setting it up. My advice for the federal government, if they set the state police, there should be the Attorney General of the Federation who will monitor those states, and there will be a judge under his ministry that when a state overuses his power, that state will be sanctioned. They can give him 6 months, what they did in Rivers, state of emergency, and they can even extend it, so they can be able to monitor the activities at the state level. And the issue of weapons, the weapons that the federal police will be using might be different from what the state police. They might not need all these AK-47, just pistol and canisters, tear gas and what have you. So that when they have issues that are beyond them, they can transfer them to the federal police. So it's a work in progress. They have to look at those issues very well, so that they don't just, give those governors the powers that they begin to misuse them.
You said it's a work in progress, but looking at the security issue in Nigeria, in my perspective, I don't know if it's something that should be delayed, if it's what experts and everybody has, predicted that it's going to help in solving majority aspect of insecurity, from banditry down to theft, down to robbery, kidnapping, and every other thing. I don't know. I feel it's something that should be done with emergency.
Yes, it will be done with emergency, but pending when that process is going on. I told you that the Southwest governors, they met and they are trying to look at, okay, what do we do to tackle security in our region? Amotekun, Ondo State governor, has said they should employ 500 Amotekun individuals, train them, give them the natural training, let them go into the bush, chase out these kidnappers. The Southeast is doing the same thing. The South is doing the same thing. If the North is also doing the same thing, pending when the state police issues are rounded up, I think that menace can be tackled in the short term.
Indeed. I mean, looking at it from that angle where they come through the vigilante while we're still waiting for
for the state police to come on board. Yeah.
I feel if the government should really channel such energy, and we're looking at police recruitment,
soldiers recruitment are ongoing. And one of those things that I also want the government to look at is that, as we have the chief of staff, the chief of defense staff, the chief of army staff, the chief of air staff, that should be a chief of staff too. Maybe from the forest guard level, you understand? That will also report directly to the president. These people, they know the terrain. They know the forest. We have over 1,109 forests in Nigeria. So if you are recruiting a forest guard from my Akoko Edo where I come from, he knows the terrain of Akoko Edo. He knows the villages. He knows the town. He knows the forest. So this will also help in the meantime, pending when the police, state police reform and papers and everything will be fully implemented. I think that will fight the insecurity headlong, and I think progress will be made as quickly as possible.
Absolutely, Mr. Charles. Then you made mention of public trust. A lot of people have lost trust in this government, whether we like it, whether we like to say it or not. A lot of people have lost trust in this government. And do you agree that this is due to the systemic failure in institutions like the judiciary, with the civil society, and also from state governors, like you made mention that the federal government makes an allocation, security vote here, money from subsidies being channeled to the state governor, and all that. And we're seeing all these failures here and there. Do you agree that this, to an extent, has affected the trust of youth to the government?
Well, yes, to some extent, if we begin to see institutions that are supposed, to protect the youth, you see them, tilting towards amplifying the voices of politicians more than the voices of the people. They tend to be, discouraged, and the public trust that I've placed somebody to represent me. Some of us, we have House of Representatives that has been there, that have not spoken, has not passed the bill for a year. For the past 4 years, they have been there. So these are things that discourages the youth. But I don't want them to be discouraged, because this present government has so many things in stock for the youth. And we have seen so many youth in government. The current minister of youth is 30 plus.
He should be 30.
Yes,
he's the minister of youth.
He's the minister of youth. He's 30 plus, and you can see what he's doing. Some of the policies. Just yesterday, he launched a particular policy for the youth, where grants have been given to them. You have the student venture capital grant, where over 50 million is being given to Nigerians. So the youth should not be discouraged. Yes, we have found ourselves in this situation, but we should also find ourselves we should give ourselves into politics. We should not sit down and fold our arms that yes, because they have failed us, I don't want to get involved. You get involved, get into a political party, go to their meetings, talk, join civil society organizations, speak out. You see, by the time you begin to speak about some of those ills of those politicians and what you see in governance, it will get to their ears, and you think they will not right the wrong. They don't want to also leave their offices. They want to do the right thing, but if we don't speak up, if we leave them to do what they do, they will continue to run the government the way they feel. But if we come out and join politics, talk about politics, join civil society, I don't say you should go and protest and be destroying government properties, but there is a way that you can protest and make your grievances known without being destructive. So these are things that can also help to put them on their toes and to make them perform and to do what they have been voted to do for Nigerians. Yeah.
That's true, but someone who is discouraged, who has lost trust in the government, it's hard to come out and, do all these things that you've said, participate in this. No youth currently, to be sincere, no youth would say, oh, I want to be active in, in the forthcoming election, or I want to be active in creating awareness or this or that. All they are interested is, let me just make this money and leave this country. And that's majority, that's most of, young people's ideology currently. And it's because they have termed the government as failure on their part. So it's hard for the youth to just come out and say, oh, I regain back my trust. What is the government putting in place because you made mention of safety net earlier, but how is the government? How can, when I talk about the government, I'm not just talking about this current administration. I'm talking about the government as a system, the government as Nigeria itself, and not just some individuals ruling the government. How can the government, gain back the trust of the youth?
Well, I know where you are pushing through. In the last elections, we saw some of the youth, they tilted towards a political platform. At the end of the day, the candidate did not emerge. And I heard so many youths, they were shouting, saying the election was rigged, they don't have trust in in politics again, they don't have trust in the system, that they are not going to vote, they better leave the government to run on its own and let them go and jackpot and do whatever they want to do. But you see, politics is not the way the youth should take it. The way they think about politics on social media is different from politics in reality. You see, they should not be discouraged by anything. Every system evolves. When we started this Fourth Republic in 1999, the electoral system did not just start from the blues. In 1999, 2023, we began to see some changes until the beavers was introduced. And the beavers gave so many people confidence. And we saw many people came into the net of registering for voters registration. The voters registry had gone very high because of the process are beginning to give some kind of transparency and, accountability. But you see, we cannot just say, okay, because of what happened, I want to lose trust. No, you must not lose trust in your government. You must not lose trust in the country. Everything is a process and it is a work in process. We continue to work till we perfect it. The America you see today, they started from somewhere. And as we're beginning to evolve, we're beginning to see that, yes, people are crying out for electoral reforms every day. And the government is keen on making sure that the electoral reform is one of the best, that you can even stay at the corner of your house and cast your vote and your vote will be counted. And for the youth, they should not be discouraged. I've outlined so many youthful policies that is ongoing. I can recap. They can take advantage of, even if you are a graduate now, that you are still seeking, there is a lot of opportunity that is opening now. If you want to join the police, you can join. They are looking for people. If you want to join the military, you can join. If you want to join forest guard, you can join. Even if you don't want to join, there is a program that is still going on for unemployed graduates. They call it the technical vocational educational training.
And it's accessible to grassroots.
It's to the youth. You can go there, they will train you, they will even give you stipend. After then,
how sustainable is
it? Is sustainable. They can Google it. They will even after the program, they will even attach you to the Bank of Industry. The Bank of Industry can also give you startup pack. Training they are going on. You have this program also, Empower. Yes, those monies might be very little for the meantime, but they kind of inculcate the spirit of entrepreneurship in Nigerians. I don't subscribe.
And currently, you can proudly say that this is not being siphoned by some particular.
It is not siphoned. It is in the public layer. It is the public domain. Go there. This student venture grant is for undergraduate students from 300 level, basically in science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medical sciences. The technical vocational education training is for any unemployed guy. They have over 26 or 260 centers across Nigeria. The NEM fund, it will reduce your parents can sit down at home and say you should go to school. So the issue of my parents cannot send me to school, it has been taken up by this government. These are some of those policies to cushion the effect of the sweeping economic reforms of subsidy removal and the unification of the currency. So everybody should be discouraged. Nigerians are great people and Nigerians have great ideas. We know Nigerian youth, they are doing marvelously well all across the globe. So they should not be discouraged and say they want to jackpot. We are not jackpot. The Nigeria belongs to everybody and we must sit down here and eat the good of the land.
Rightly said. But before we take a short break, I want you to tell me, in your own words, what would you define as good governance?
Good governance is simply providing the basic amenities for Nigerians to enjoy. There is power supply, there is good road, there is security of life and properties, there is education, there is freedom of information, there is freedom of speech. There is so many things that a good governance can provide for you. So these are the characteristics of good governance. And I think, yes, we are not there yet. It's work in progress, but we will get there by God's grace.
By God. We always put the by God's grace.
Yes, we'll get there because without God, you cannot do anything. Even if you put a leader somewhere, if he does not have the mind of God, he will not do anything. So we just continue. There is nothing we cannot do. God is first. We are not saying you don't understand. God is the number one authority. But governance requires both physical and spiritual. Exercise.
Indeed. But we're going to go forward. But before then, let's take a short break, and we'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us. You are still watching 360 Youth Dialogue. Welcome back from that short break. And if you're just joining in, you missed out, but not so much. We have been talking about governance and security. These are the major issues that causes, stability or instability in a country. And this has also affected the youth. And this is 360. If it's affecting the youth, we're talking about it here. I've been having a wonderful conversation with Mr. Charles Akanji. Did I call that right?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Charles Akanji. And before now, you were talking about what good governance meant to you. And I would want you to like you made mention that we're not there yet, but we're coming there. And let's talk about security. Let's go back to security.
Okay.
Governance and security. Looking at the security architecture of Nigeria, how much capacity have been, put into insecurity in tackling in this, current administration, and looking at how insecurity has grown from previous administration to now?
You see, to be frank with us, the previous administration, I'm not sorry to say this, did a lot of damage to the Nigerian security architecture. What am I saying? You cannot say you want to rehabilitate bandits, Boko Haram, bring them into the army. Today, when you receive signal that you want to go and fight bandits, most of the bandits and the Boko Haram that you have reabsorbed, you tell us in the name of the radicalization, or what do they call it? They will definitely give information to their fellow. Do you think they will say a proverb that you cannot see the son of a king. You cannot feel it from the son of a king. You will still see that mark on him. That this boy is the son of a king. So you cannot radicalize them like that and say you have there. So they did a lot of damage to the government. And when this government came on board, this issue of security is a very serious issue, and it's not something you come to the public and start telling them or speaking of your strategy on how to fight security. But they did a lot of damage, which we are bleeding from. And with the courageous, the kind of president we have now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that has devoted a lot of, expertise and resources to the military to fight bandit and terrorism, I think we are beginning to get it right. And with some of the sweeping reforms in terms of the security that we are getting lately, I think in the next few months, the issue of insecurity will be a thing of the past. And we will overcome them. And Nigeria will be secured again. And you can travel and be secured and be assured that, yes, your life is safe.
That's a wish from every Nigerian, including the government.
It's a wish, but you see, we are seeing practicality now. I've told you some of what the president is doing now. Before, there's no government that has that boldness to say you can withdraw your police or VVIPs. Who has that courage to say that? The statement came from the president. It was from the IG. Do you think they will listen to? They know the kind of president we have. He has spoken that word, and in a jiffy, 11,000 police have gone back, and they have said recruit more people. So these are the ways to tackle. And the issue of forest guard, I told you before, and other state governments, they should also look at security. I told you these are the solutions. I cannot come to Anambra and say I know the route to what is it called? Onichabi, what is it? I don't know those routes. But I know the route to where I come from, where I stay. I know where I can pass. I know my people that I stay with. So the issue of state policing, as I said, is a work in progress. But pending that time, the governors should look inward and see how they can tackle security in their own state. They have the resources, and I think if there anywhere they need help, I know the president will support them. Yeah.
I'm glad you made mention of the current order from the president and how it has brought about over 11,000 police officers are back to to the main reason why they were established. Yeah. And a lot of critics are saying that they are understaffed, they are they are stretched out, and we're seeing the presidency. We're seeing the president and the government, the current government, putting much effort in this. How can this affect the youth?
How does it affect the youth? It affects the youth positively. Job opportunities are open for the youth.
How many youth would want to, be police officers? Looking at how, the welfare so far are not... We're seeing retired police officers, retired military people clamoring for pension. We're seeing military people that are... These are online. There are videos of them showing how poor their welfare is. Looking at all these things... And these are the jobs that are being available right now, massive recruitment.
Do you think if they are saying they want to recruit for police, they want to recruit police, is recruiting police that are going to be standing on the road? Have you checked the application? IT, accountants, economists, engineers, different fields are needed in the military. It's not only to go and fight battles. Yeah, you have soldiers that will fight battles. You have soldiers that will be in charge of the medicals. You have soldiers that will be in charge of IT, surveillance, and what have you. So it's not about... And the issue of poor remuneration is a thing of the past now. The issue of pension, the federal government, the president has said the police pension fund should be separated. Where you see some people will die, they will not get their pension for... The president is dealing seriously on that issue. And you will see people, they will have the joy to go and join police. I look at the application. If I was qualified, I would have applied.
But
I would have applied.
Why?
My age, they gave me cap, 28 years. And I'm more than 28 years. No, the youth should be happy. They should go, and if you have IT skill that you can bring technology that can fight crime, go. You can do it. The president's open. You can go there, apply, and when you get there, you can bring in your ideas. Nigerian youths are very, very initiative. They are very innovative. They are very innovative. Very innovative, and they can solve the issue of security in Nigeria. Yes,
indeed they can. Okay, we're still talking about security here, and you made mention of security votes. Let's pick it from there. Before we came on air, you were talking about how governors. I think you also made mention of it here in the studio too. How governors are, making use of the security votes. I want to know more on that.
Yeah. A security vote is a money that is assigned to you as a governor every month to take care of the security architecture of your state. It might be 1 billion, it might be 2 billion. I'll take an example from the state I come from. Edo State, when the present governor, Monday Okwebolo, His Excellency, came on board, he bought 350 high-loss buses, distributed to soldiers, the police, the NCDC, what do they call them? Civil defense. And he bought over 400 motorbikes for the communities to, enter the bush, fight security and all this. These are what security votes are meant for. They are not meant for you to pocket and start traveling abroad and living lavish life at the expense of the people that you are meant to govern. That is the way to fight security. The security votes are meant to fight security in your domain. And I think some governors are doing very well in regard to this security vote. And my governor, Governor Monday Okwebolo, is one of a kind that is really up and doing in this respect. And I want to give credit also to Peter Mba of Enugu. He's one of the governors that is fighting security. Sheyi Makinde in Oyo State just bought a 7.7 billion naira drone. 7.7 billion naira drone to fight insecurity in Oyo State. It's only to see what you are doing anywhere around that state. So these are what the security votes are meant for. I think these governors that are very proactive should continue. I give kudos to them. And those that are still, trying to, find their feet, they should copy from their colleagues and make sure that the security of their citizens very, very paramount, and they must not do anything to jeopardize that.
So what would you say about states that are really in the grip rather of insecurity, like Benue, like Kwara, like other states that are really facing insecurity? Would you say they are not making due use of their security vote?
Well, I would not say that, but if you look, I said something earlier on that the issue of insecurity depends on the kind of security that you are facing. I mentioned it earlier. If you look at the middle belt, the North Central, you see that their security issues are basically because of herdsmen trying to, a kind of coming into the community, cattle rustling and everything, taking over the town, making sure that, okay, you beginning to pay them, every month for your cattle, you begin to pay them for using, they claim territories. It's a farmer herders clashes in the middle belt, basically. But in the north, in the core north, you have issue of mining. That is why you saw the governors, these northern governors, at their meeting, one of their communique, they said mining should be banned for the next 6 months. Because they know this cartel, these miners, they are the major cause of this banditry and terrorism in that area. So there are different dimensions of security issues at its regard different regions. So that's what I break down for you earlier. So in the middle belt, it's farmers, herders clashes, and I think the president has made a very critical statement a few days ago that the issue of ranching should come up on board. So states should begin to look at ranching, different from what the previous government was talking about, Ruga. You understand? It's a two different things. So the ranching issue, as a private person, you can also have a ranch. I can bring my cattle to your place to rear. I can take care of your cattle for you. You pay me every month. So it becomes a private business, and a business that can also reduce to the barest minimum the issue of this everyday farmers that clashes, Fulani and farmers fighting every day. I think, as I said, it's a work in progress, and I think this president is very proactive and very decisive in what he's doing. And we are going to get there.
Indeed. I like every sentence you end with, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very visionary about Nigeria.
We are getting there. We will get to there, Dorado. It's not yet to Uru, but yes, we'll get there. We'll get there. You see, when you are working on something, you will definitely, when you started your primary school, you started from somewhere. And you were looking at, I want to go to the university. Did you not eventually get there? You got there by courage. Some of our people, we started, they fell out on the way. Some of them said, my head no carry on. I can't do it. They went and do some other things. We will get there. Everybody will get there. Yes.
Indeed, Nigeria will get there. But as we are getting there, let's talk about how Nigeria can balance security spending with economic development priorities like, good roads, good light, and all that. Especially when budgets for health, education, and infrastructure, they are shrinking. And we saw the last budget, security had like a major chunk of it.
You see, for every economic development, I am an economist. I read economics. My first degree, I read economics. Went on to do MBA in other, and I'm very vast when it comes to economic issues. I can't take it away from me. Yes, it's not by the, you see, for any economic development, security is very key. If you don't have people you are governing, what development do you want to bring into that space? So the issue of budgetary allocation to security is because of the security challenges we are facing at this particular point in time, which has taken chunk of the budget. And we have seen how past government has mismanaged the security budget from the Dasuki era to what we have under the Buhari government, that if those money are spent wisely, we will not be talking of more budget in security today. We're talking about budgeting more for education, health, and what have you. Well, you know, if we dimension the budget based on what we are facing, basically in Nigeria, you know, is the issue of security. You cannot take that away, but don't mind the fact that you must also put food in the belly of the people. So the government is also trying to manage both the security and on the economic side. On the flip side, they're also looking at, you know, other reforms, trying to see how they can, you know, improve the lives of Nigeria in little areas that I have shown you. The economy is biting, you know, you have taken away education from somebody, you have taken school fees away from a father that has 3 children. You know, you have taken 85% of his problem away. Yes, you have taken 85% because by the time you start to think, now I'm thinking, I want to pay school fees. I want to do this. You'll be thinking, 500,000 for 3 children each semester. If that is taken away from you, you can use that money to do other things, little businesses that can bring in money for you, understand? It will take care of that. So I don't want to blame the government if they budget so much money in terms of security for now. I think as we go on along and we begin to see that the insecurity issue is coming down, we take that money and put it in somewhere that will benefit me and you. And
so currently it's advisable that more budget, the budget should be channeled, towards security.
You know, there is not, you look at the needs. You don't just budget. You don't just budget. You know, you have to look at the proposed expenditure. You look at the proposed income that's coming. If the government is proposing a budget of, say, 54 trillion next year, they have to look at the areas of security. What do we want to tackle now? Are we buying more fighter jets? Are we buying more arms and ammunition? Are we buying, you know, these are the issues. It's not that they'll just carry money and dump on. They will look at the needs. So the needs will also, you know, help them in trying to formulate the budget.
Do you think in coming time, the government can balance this whole budget between security budget and economic, you know, environmental budget and every other aspect, every other sector?
There's no way that the government can balance the budget in terms of saying security and economy, we have the same budget. You know, I told you about need, and needs arises. So the particular need for this sector might be different from the particular need of that sector. So it depends on the need. It depends.
Despite ASU going on strike, doctors going on strike.
How many times have ASU gone on strike? Why is ASU going on strike?
They're on strike currently.
Why are they going on strike? Why are they going on strike? You see, well, I don't want to delve into the issue of ASU. I think the Minister of Education has the right and to deal with the issue of ASU. But I know most of these things are political, and I think it's high time Nigeria begin to look away from politics and see what is in there for our students. They can't keep our students at home. What are they fighting for? What are they fighting for? If it is an implementation of an agreement that has been done since 2009, there is a way that you can negotiate with government instead of jeopardizing the lives of many Nigerians and keeping them at home. I don't want to delve into those issues because those issues are very annoying. It's not at this point in time when Nigeria is facing a whole lot of issues and the ASU is bringing down on the table.
We're not just seeing ASU, we're also seeing doctors.
The doctors issue, I think it should be looked at. It should be looked at because these are people that are very critical to any sector. They are the most critical sector that we have, and they should be taken care of. Whatever the issues are, I think Professor Pate, the Minister of Health, is up to the task, and I think the presidency can also weigh in and make sure that the doctors are taken care of and they are giving everything to make sure that they continue to take care of Nigerians who are sick and to make sure they get better.
And since you're so optimistic, since you're, looking forward to a better day in Nigeria, let's look at your optimism. What gives you hope for Nigeria's governance and security trajectory?
What gives me hope is a lot, because you see, when you begin to see a government that is proactive, bringing out policies, you look at the policies and, you have to also interrogate those policies and look and project that, okay, is this policy going to work? Yeah, if it's not going to work, then I will not be optimistic. But I've seen the policies of this government in every area. Where they are not doing well, I will tackle them. I'll talk about it. But where they are doing well, basically in the economy, I think everything is beginning to take shape. Before, people were crying, rice is 100 and something thousand. Today, rice is less than, go to taco market now, it's less than 50,000, 55,000, 50,000. Some people are buying rice for 50,000. They are beginning to look at the issues that is affecting us. The agricultural sector, a whole lot of policies are going up. You have the National Agro Pocket Policy or agriculture, where they are absorbing over 80,000 farmers. When you see these policies, you're beginning to be optimistic that, okay, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, if we continue in this trajectory, if we continue in this pattern, we will get there. It's a matter of time. But when you begin to see policies are being somersault, you see policies somersault. Today the government will come, tomorrow they will do this policy, they will reverse it, tomorrow they will reverse it. No, the country cannot grow that way. But if you see policies, consistency, this year, amount of money is put into agriculture, tractors are given to farmers, protections are given to farmers, forest guard are in the bush protecting farmers, security issues are beginning to abate. You begin to see that progress has been made. That is no way that you will not be optimistic. You will definitely be optimistic that this governance, this government, it knows what it's doing. If we say a government that does not know what it's doing, you know that this one, even if you spend 8 years, Nigeria will go back 10,000 times. And Nigeria is not going to go back anymore. We are moving forward. And will continue to move forward until we reach that Eldorado, where the dream of every Nigerian is to sleep with his 2 eyes closed, wake up to light, electricity, wake up to good water, wake up to free education, wake up to every good things of life.
Indeed,
Yes.
we hope for that.
We will see it in our lifetime. We will see it in our lifetime.
We will indeed. But you spoke about policies, and one thing that a lot of people have said, and it's just there, is that we know how to make policies in Nigeria. We know how to pass the bill. We know how to do that. But the implementation in Nigeria is one critical problem we face continuously. We just see paper implementations.
Well, for previous government, you see paper implementation. But this, you see, when Tinubu was campaigning, the 3 of them, President Tinubu, Peter Obi, and Atiku, said they were going to remove subsidy. Tinubu said he is going to give free loan, student loan. People were saying it's not possible. He said he's going to unify the dollar. People said for this cartel, that you have a lot of cartel. But today, words is different from the words that he said is being implemented gradually. That is what we are seeing. That a leader that says what he will do is what has become his bond. When he said he was going to give free education, everybody, where it won't happen. Today, people they have free education, university, even to technical college of education. They give stipend as high as 40,000 every month. So you don't need to cry home and say, please send me. When we were going to school, then those days in the university, when I was in university, do you know how much is my pocket money every month? It is 5,000 naira. And you dare not come back at home and say you want to ask for, if that 5,000 is not enough, you go and sort yourself out. So if we see a government that is giving me stipend and I'm not paying school fees, and the other programs that are on board for me, so it is not about not implementing. It is saying it, doing it, implementing it, and as we beginning to go ahead, by the time He finishes 8 years and everything will be balanced. Everything will be balanced. So subsequent government, successive government that comes, we key into that policy. So if we have like minds, that's why I've always give credit to Peter Mba. It's the first government in the history of this country that will run a balanced budget. His budget in 2026 is balanced. His revenue is equal to his expenditure. Have you seen that before? No. So this is the government. This is the kind of leaders that we want to see in Nigeria. And if you begin to see that, you go to Edo State, you go to other states, you are beginning to see development, implementation of policies as they are saying it, they are implementing it. If we see that in 2025 states, Nigeria will not be like this in the next 4 years. Go and mark my words.
So all this, we've looked at how all this and all this affects the youth. Now let's talk about how the youth can, play a part in governance and security.
The youth can play a part in governance. I've said it, that you cannot sit on the fence. You want to play a part, you want to sit on the fence and be tweeting from your bedroom and be saying, hey, they've killed 50 people in you see, most of our youth now, they use AI to destabilize and cause so many havoc. They should use that intuition, that innovation to create something that can even fight these security issues that we're having. So, one, if you don't want to get into politics, if you cannot beat them, you have to join them. If you want to fight them, go and join them in that politics and tell them that what they are doing is not right. My first experience in politics was I never wanted to do politics, but my first day in the university, I was confronted by a so-called ESCO that said we should pay some amount of money. I just want to drive you home to somewhere. They now called the Congress. I went to the Congress and I spoke. I said, no. When I came in, the kind of hospitality you gave us is not clear, and you are saying we should pay some amount of money. What is the money meant for? I challenged them. Do you know what? When they wanted to do election, they came to me that I should come and contest for general secretary. I said, why? They said, no, if you are there, you come and fight. So you have to get yourself involved. I got myself involved. I contested. I won, and I went there, and I did what I needed to do, that I know it is right. So if you want to beat them, you go and join them. How many youths have a voter's card? Ask them. They don't have. They will tell you, I don't want to have voter card. I have none. You must have your voter's card. You must join a platform where your voice can be heard. You go to their meetings. Do they know them in their ward? Do they have registration card? They don't have. So if you want to do that, you have to join politics. One, if you don't want to join politics, join civil society organization. Civil society organization is just like a pressure group. They dissect government policies. If government is doing well, they say, no, this area you have to do well. This area you have to. Some of them are not politicians. You have the likes of Randy Peters. You have Mama P. You have VDM. Is VDM a politician? He's not a politician. But he criticizes government policies. He looked at it from this angle. He looked at it. He advises. So these are how the youth can also get involved. And they can also use their skill to fight security instead of using their skill to do yahoo and to do scamming that will be bringing disrepute to Nigerians and Nigerian youth all over the world.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that. But I think we have to draw the curtain at this point. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles, for your input and your perspective.
I appreciate that. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And one thing that stood very well for me is that the youth have to be involved and hold the government accountable.
Yes.
Very important. I mean, if this is affecting you, you have to be involved and hold the government accountable. Thank you so much for joining us here on 360 Youth Dialogue, where we talk about issues affecting the youth. If it's affecting the youth, we are dissecting it here on 360 Youth Dialogue. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Juliet Overa. Keep watching Third Eye Africa Television.